Let the chaos reign.
Chaos Reign presents Sharia Law. Will it fix relationships in the West? Broadcast March the 8th, 2020. Enjoy.
दिल लाल या बेपरवाह दे नाल दिल लाल
The views expressed on Talk Real Solutions, hosted by Tyrone Thompson at TalkRealSolutions.com, are the views of Tyrone Thompson and do not reflect the views of TalkRealSolutions.com, YouTube, or etc. The content here belongs to Talk Real Solutions and its many contributors. Views and opinions expressed by all contributors belong to them and not TalkRealSolutions.com or Tyrone Thompson, the host, or etc. All data and information provided on the site is for informational purposes only. Talk Real Solutions makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, correctness, suitability, or validity of any information on this site and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or delays in this information or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its display or use. All information is provided on an as-is basis.
In a world where there's crime, corruption, violence, rape, murder, death, and all forms of atrocity that plagues the world in which we live in today, what you're witnessing, we are living in a state of chaos, and it'll take a greater or much extremer chaos to restore the order in which we live in today, or in which the world we live in today. Good evening, black people. This is Chaos here, and tonight, this is something that I never really actually examined or looked into, but it's something to look at nonetheless. As you know, we live in America, and there's some laws like this has never been displayed here in America like that. But what if the possibilities of such a law? Well, before I give the name or the title of the show, please go to TalkRealSolutions.com. Under TalkRealSolutions.com, you'll see, like always, the 3-point plan, and, black empowerment. You'll see a list of black-owned banks. Also, on the website, you'll see latest articles, news, and, certain event stats in the website. So you're not missing a beat by going to TalkRealSolutions.com. All the information is there. So, like always, go to the website and check it out for yourself. Also, to let y'all know, we have a YouTube channel. This is Talk. You could find this episode and all episodes on Talk Real Solutions on YouTube. You type up Talk Real Solutions, you'll find it. As you know, people that are not familiar with this podcast, we had a previous on YouTube. As you could tell, you look at it and say, why it looks so low now, because, we had a little complications. So always, like everything else, since we're in a new decade, it's time to do something different and, start over from scratch. I think starting over will be beneficial moving forward. It built so greatly over the years. But now with this new direction, I think this YouTube channel will grow properly now in a different direction. But only time will tell, like I said. Like always, me, I'm T.R.S. always, and like always, I'm here on T.R.S. And also you can find me on YouTube as well, T.R.S. You can type that up as well. You'll find me, obviously you'll see the symbol, T.R.S. And, y'all can find me from YouTube. So like always, you can find this episode and previous episodes, other people hosting and doing shows on YouTube as well. So check it out. It's there. Also, you can also tune in every Thursday to the news, where we break down all the latest news outlets, articles, etc. So tune in if you're a subscriber to Talk Real Solution on YouTube. Hit that subscribe bell and hold the notification bell. You don't want to miss the news part. Oh, yeah, and to let everybody know, recap that we had a winner, Monica Lamb. She won the All Facts contest of supporting black business. Congratulations, Monica Lamb. She took that money and resource and she distributed to young teenagers so that in their endeavors, I think some of the money that she gave out, I'm not sure if it's all or in lump sums or like breakdowns, but it gives to their future scholarships if they decide to attend a four-year university or whatever. They have gotten a little small siphon from Monica for her winnings on the All Facts Challenge in supporting black business. So congratulations to you, Monica Lamb. I'm hoping that when you get back to this playback, you hit me up so that we could do a show on black business and the new tax laws in black business if you come across this information. So way to go, Mo. All right. I think I said everything. So tonight, title, Chaos Reign presents Sharia Law. Will it fix relationships in the West? Now, what I mean by relationships, as you know, there is a dynamic in regards to the separation or the issues between men in America and women. And we could say for most of the black community that divide has been greatly extended for the last approaching 50 years now, since the integration. And 5 years after that, it started taking more effects during the 70s. So we look at roughly 50 years. We find that a lot of laws have been put in place for not only us as people, but for this nation, America, from No Child Left Behind to no-fault divorce and a bunch of other things. MJ, if you dare, if you could type in some of the laws, if you could remember, MJ, of what has really changed throughout, relationships in America during the 70s, if you could do that for me, MJ, I appreciate it, sweetie. Thank you. Yeah, these are things that kind of shift how we view relationships, even to the point where, now when we engage in relationships, and let's say we go as far as marriage, it doesn't last long now. One time it was over 5 to 10 years. Now we look at last 30 years, it's been dropping substantially, where if we get married, we automatically go and file divorce the next year. So marriage, particularly for the community, black community, it's not really that good. Besides other marriage outside other nations, other race of people, it's somewhat sustaining, but it's slowly dipping as well. I don't have numbers here, but let's say for the sake of conversation, it's going to start slowly change because how the dynamics and the economics of this country is shifting. That a lot of people are not risking getting married in this country. And my reason why they're not risk it because it's not a good deal for the opposite sex, particularly males. Now, I hear a lot of men don't want to risk getting married because they're going to lose the little wealth or that little bag they had to their spouse, white or non-black, or actually non-black or black. And I get it. I understand them. I see the argument. But at the end of the day, you're not going to really sustain or build any decent wealth by your individual merit as a person, as a man. I hear some of these dumb idiots throughout podcasts and YouTube saying that, you could do it and you could build this wealth without a woman. And I hear it. But at the end of the day, it doesn't resonate. And it doesn't really imply or really it's dealing with reality at the end of the day. So really, truly, if you're thinking like that and you want to go just have, casual sex and be so-called a single player up to your, mid to late 50s or, hell, maybe 60s, go for it, dude. If it goes well, I'll commit y'all. Matter of fact, regardless of wealth, that's not going to really happen. Yeah. Come on, MJ. You know that, man. I can't really name enough things off my head, so, I need some assistance. You're the great moderator. You push the message of the show. You give people the call number. So if I ask you nicely, hoping that you take in, reciprocate, and, oblige and say, yes, I will try, at least. But, it's optional, MJ. It would be helpful so I can read it out to the people, but it's optional. Okay. Now, let's look at this definition of Sharia law. And make sure the volume sound good. If you can hear me, let me know. If not, please, as I go into it. Sharia law. And I've mentioned my name some of the states or countries that has implemented Sharia law. Islam. Sharia law is a cast from the word of Muhammad called Hadith. His actions called Sunnah, and the Quran, which he dictates. The Sharia law itself cannot be altered by the interpretations called, I believe it's called fight, by Muftis, Islamic jurists. It's given some latitude. As a legal system, the Sharia law is exceptionally broad. While other legal codes regulate public behaviors, Sharia regulates public behaviors, private behaviors, and even private beliefs. Now, I'm not sure what beliefs they're talking about, but they say your private beliefs. So if I believe that it's going to rain, it's going to rain. But anyway, compared to other legal codes, the Sharia law also prioritizes punishment over rehabilitations and favors corporal and capital punishment over incarceration of all legal systems in the world today. The Sharia law is the most intrusive and restrictive, especially against women. According to the Sharia law, and there's links, theft is punishable by amputation of the hands. Now, mind you, I heard from a little birdie, and this was, I think I got this from, was it YouTube or I heard from a story from another brother. But people that are Muslims, I'm not sure these are black or Arab-looking Muslims, when they found a person stole from them and they catch that corporate or that criminal, they have taken this theft or this thief, put him down into a nice place, strap him up, put his hands on a desk or wherever solid surface, and takes what we call a hatchet or a sharp long blade, like a scimitar, or any sharp heavy blade, and let's say they just take the swoop and off goes not one hand, but both your hands. That's one form of punishment they deal with thieves and, Muslims or Arabs, how they deal with Islam. Next one, criticizing or denying any part of the Quran is punishable by death. Ooh. That one right there, that just leaves chills. Now imagine if the Christians say if you deny or criticize that Bible, what death waits for you? Now I'm not sure back in let's say the Old Testament, back old days. Back then, the Old Testament, if it was real or not, which I doubt it really existed, some of those stories. But I'll tell you, some of the stories probably might make sense, but in regards to the characters, not so. Usually back then, they was deal with real things. If you do something to me, I would have did something to you. There was not such a thing called the, what's the word? Turn the other cheek back in the old days. You box me, I was going to box you back. You would have killed one of mine, you would lose your life the same way. In the Old Testament, it was real grimy. It was rugged. Back in the days, if men move like that, and still move like that today, after we have the issue now we have in this country, and maybe not this country, but globally, but that's not a story. Because that's how people used to move back in the old days, or the Old Testament. So even to the law of Sharia Law, in regards to criticizing and denying any part of the Quran, yeah, that's punishable death. Not the same thing with the Bible. Usually you do any of the same thing. You might get scrutinized or, chastised, or, you'd be called name or wherever, or people just walk away. But in this book, they don't play. They let you know it said this is the all-speaking word of Allah. And anything less than that, the consequence is death. Where they always, you hear them in the, you hear the scene they make say, Makina, we are going to Allah. Ah! You hear that? Matter of fact, it's your ass if you hear something like that. When they say, we are going to Allah, you better run. Run to the hills. Fast, 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 fast. Anyway. Next one. Criticizing Muhammad or denying that he is a prophet is punishable by death. Same thing with part 2. Now, mind you, if any person that is a Muslim today, black especially, if you want to verify this, I'm not sure if you really live this Quran, like literally live this. Because I know a lot of people that don't like the Quran or much less love Muhammad or your fake, watered down white Muslim God. And it's funny to be reading this for the first time, and it makes me want to say, if these people, especially Nation Islam or anybody that follows this and subscribe to this, how much are you really living this book? Oh, wait, are you really living this book? A lot of people say it's allegory. It's not really living. It's something that you go sit there read. No, the book said, the rule said, criticize Muhammad or denying that he is prophet is punishable by death. Now, people that's part of the mosque that is no longer Muslims will say this in front of the mosque. It makes me want to say, how are these people are still standing? Are you really about that life? That's the number one question I would ask anybody that follows this religion. That's my number one question. I'm not sure I'll get an answer, but it's nice to put the question out there. But nonetheless, we move on. Criticizing or denying Allah is punishable by death. And there's a part where it says, see Allah, moon god. Let me see what this is. And there's the shape of the, shape of the moon. And it says here, Allah, moon god. Is Allah the God of the Bible? or is Allah the moon god of ancient Arabic? While Allah could refer to God literally, the Allah of Islam is the moon god of ancient pagan Arabic. The Arabia. The Arabic word of God is Elim or Alim, while Ah is the Arabic for the therefore Allah combined with Ah with Alam and remove the I to literally mean the God. But much like Yahweh or Jehovah is the personal name of God in the Bible. Allah is also the personal name of the moon god, the chief among the 360 pagan idols that were worshipped in Mecca, the hometown of Muhammad. And I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to go any further. Y'all can look that for yourself. Moving on. A Muslim who becomes a non-Muslim is punishable by death. Let me read that again. A Muslim who becomes a non-Muslim is punishable by death. So if you're a Muslim one time and you decide you don't want to become a Muslim no more, you may lose your life. Oh, that's so bad. That is so, it gives you shivers to know, say, if you don't stay, if you part of this religion and you follow the Muslim faith and all that stuff, you better not sway and say, one day say, I'm not Muslim anymore, because that will be your ass. And it says here compulsions. Let me click with the compulsion part. And it says here, but the Quran says there is no compulsion in religion, i.e., no pressure to convert to Islam. You might be wrong about that. And you see, there's a picture of a Arab man with a gun pointing and say, you better follow the faith. And let me read this part. There shall be no compulsions in religion. The right course has become clear from the wrong. So whoever disbelieves in false deities and believes in Allah has grasped the most trustworthy handhold with no breaking in it. Allah is hearing and knowing. Just like God is all seeing and knowing. No different. Same thing. And, okay. And it's more or less, I'm not going to go into the exit out of that. I'm not going to read that part. All right. And let me just double check something. Oh, yeah. I see it's going to get crazy tonight. Trust me, guys. Trust me. Yeah, I've seen that. All right. Let me go on. Okay. A non-Muslim who leads a Muslim away from Islam is punishable by death. It makes me wonder. Let me highlight that. It makes me wonder, when Malcolm was killed, roughly 55 years ago now, I remember him leading other Muslims, or a non-Muslim who leads a Muslim away from Islam is what they said punishable by death. I'm not sure if Malcolm did that when he was kicked out of Nation Islam. From what I remember, he still followed the Muslim faith. Now, he goes even further to go to the country where it was discovered and found. Now, I'm not sure about Khalid if he did that, but from what I'm understanding now, because he figured out now that this movement was fake and false and was not leading nowhere to black people. So when he engaged and did what he did and got sanctioned and kicked out of the Nation of Islam, I think that was for the better. And he came to his sense knowing and said that, this was better. Anyway. But like I said, if you're a non-Muslim and you lead a Muslim away from Islam, you will lose your life. Let's continue. A non-Muslim man who marries a Muslim woman is punishable by death. Let me read that again. Let that sink in a bit. if you're a non-Muslim man and you marry a Muslim woman, you could lose your life. So it makes you wonder why they cover these women up. Because it lets you know that these are women you do not touch. You do not look, you don't kiss, and you don't stick your phallus. You don't screw them either. If you do that, that Muslim in that same faith or a group of Muslims find out, they were going to come get you and then, cut your head off. A woman or girl who has been raped cannot testify in court against her rapist. Now, right there, let me highlight that right there. Let me read that again for y'all to listen. Ladies, listen good. Hold on. A woman or girl who has been raped cannot testify in court against her rapist. I wonder why. So, in those Arab countries, there cannot be no Me Too. Oh, no, that does not exist in the Muslim faith, especially against the rapist. If he goes out his way and takes the pussy, fucks it, and does whatever with it, and you get sodomized, and you get your whole body messed up and your inner holes plugged and tore up by this rapist, you can go to the authorities all you want, but when it's time where they say, you're going to press charges and, go to court, you cannot testify. Or actually, it's better said, if you've been raped, you can't testify to your rapist. Now, I'm not sure how that's going to make you win in court when you've been violated and you can't prove your case in front of a jury and the judge. So it makes me wonder, thinking good, and this is what I'm getting out of this, that, rape was okay in some sense in, the Muslim faith, on the average, from reading that section. I could be wrong. Some people want to correct me if they can, hopefully, but, like I said, that's what I'm reading right now, so that's what I'm thinking. That's what it is. So, like I said, ladies, especially sisters, if you live in these areas of countries, besides here in America, which, like I said, the purpose of this stream today is, like I said, I will retitle it so you get clarity that Sharia law would fix relationships in the West, America. If there was implement in the West, you cannot testify against your rapist. And obviously, if you can't testify, it means it's going to be hard to convict him that he took the pussy. That's so deep. That is fucked up. That is dangerous. Anyway, just for food for thought, let you know that. Testimonies of 4 males witnessing and required to prove rape of a female. Let me read that again. Testimonies of 4 males witnessing are required to prove rape of a female. So, and no one was there to witness you getting actual rape in the street, in your apartment, in your house. Most likely, the person that raped you could walk away scot-free and go amongst the community and then rape again. Wow, that's sad. Now, mind you, these are the same people that's going to probably find this broadcast. They're going to do possibly streams on this. And they're going to try to say this is a good thing and should be implemented here in America, especially in the communities, whether the non-black community or the black community. They said we should have Sharia law. These fools are going to say that we should have, it's a good idea to have this in our communities. And it makes it question their pathology, their minds. And they'll say, oh, so this is what you want? So imagine if you have daughters, and notice your daughter could be raped by any man, and no more than 4 people witness it, her accuser or her rapist will walk scot-free. Is this what they want? And we already have a problem with rape in this culture already, especially America. Besides the celebrities getting slapped in the wrist for touching a chick here, much less the ones that doing potentially going to do time in jail for actual rape. I wonder, is this direction a lot of these fools wanted it to go? And mind you, this is probably the only country that's left for any woman to get and feel the comforts and, I guess, the laws and justice in their favor. Outside America, ladies, you are screwed. You're screwed. Sorry to tell you, you're really screwed. You better hope that this country does not fall. Because once this country, if it ever does fall, we don't know the time or date when it does, it's your ass. Let's continue. A woman or a girl who alleged rape without producing 4 male witnesses is guilty of adultery. Oh. Let me see if I understand that. It went from one ear and left and went the other. A woman or girl who alleges rape without producing 4 male witnesses is guilty of adultery. So not only you have to show proof that the man took the pussy, but you could be adulterous. Wow. Woo. Now I think about it, I can see why a lot of brothers or any non-black men that will subscribe to Islamic faith and want to become Muslims, and just by reading these few points here, you benefit become a Muslim as a man than a woman. I'm sorry to say it, ladies, if you're a Muslim, you're not going to, it's not in your favors at all. If you're, let's say, a black woman following Muslim faith, if they're really practicing this real Islam, the Quran, and practicing the faith really seriously, your life will be screwed right now, ladies. This is a man's haven right here. All rule and power goes to him in this religion, fully. He could live his patriarchal life without no pushback, just by the few pointers here. That's crazy. Let me give the call number for tonight's show. The call number for tonight's show is 712-770-4160, access code 915-411-pound. I repeat, 712-770-4160, access code 915-411-pound. Tonight's subject, T.R.S. presents Sharia Law. Will it fix relationships in the West? And before I continue, let me just check out something. Let me do this. All right, I'm back. Okay, let's continue. A woman or girl found guilty of adultery is punishable by death. Ooh. It seemed to me that sexual revolution that these women found in the creation of what we call feminism could not roll under the faith of Islam. No, sir. That can't work. You up here feel that you could just fling your hole and take other people's man or screw any man freely without any punishment or any, retribution? In the faith of Allah, it forbids that. You will go to Allah quickly in a second. You will hear them say, "We are going to Allah." You will go to Allah very quickly. If they find you sucking another man's phallus, and they caught you in the act, and right there, they cut your head right off there. And it calls it Islamophobia. What is that? What is Islamophobia? Was originally coined by Muslims in the 70s, but gained little attention until the 1990s, when the Runnymede Trust, a British race relations think tank, formed in commissions of Britain Muslims and Islamophobia, CBMI. In 1991, the Commission of British Muslims and Islamophobia defined Islamophobia as an outlook or a worldview involving an unfounded dread and dislike of Muslims, which result in practice of exclusion and discrimination. While in 1997, reports titled Islamophobia, a challenge for us all, defined Islamophobia as unfounded hostility towards Muslims and therefore fear or dislike of all of those or most Muslims. And the Oxford Dictionary gives these definitions: irrational fear or dislike of a specific thing or group. Merriam-Webster's Dictionary gives an exaggerating fear, and it's the same thing. All right. And it goes back to more debt about killing non-Muslims, which, y'all know what it is. Y'all seen it on TV and all that stuff. All right, and that's it. Next. Let me scroll down. A male convicted of rape can have his conviction dismissed by marrying his victim. Oh, God, this is ridiculous. Oh, boy, God, you gotta love America. I'm sorry, PR. I gotta get myself together. Oh. Let me read that again, man. That just threw me off. A male convicted of rape can have his conviction dismissed by marrying his victim. Ain't that a bitch? I take the pussy. I found that I was caught in the act by 4 more people. And the only way I can get away from this punishment or this judgment is they say, if you do not marry her, we will kill you. So the man said, the rapist said, yes, I'll marry her. And, I'm not sure if she has to agree with the marriage or not. I'm not sure how that works. But it seems to me if women don't got much power being a Muslim, even back then and now, I mean, I guess she has no choice. I could be wrong. I'm shocked. I mean, but, Yeah, but that's just crazy. This is crazy. What's good, Mr. Faulkner? Yeah, I know I'm not going to get much likes with this. I'm seeing it already. I'm watching it right now. And this is not nice. Revealing this information alone is problematic. And let me go refresh this. Hold on. Let me see what's going on. All right, good. I know this subject alone is not nice, and it's going to draw a lot of attention. Trust me, it's going to draw a lot of attention. But anyway, let's continue. All right. Muslim men have sexual rights to any woman, girl not wearing the hijab or hijab. I think that's something in their head. I'm not sure. Let me click on what that is. Oh, that's what it is. Okay. A hijab is like a turban they wrap around their hair. If you Google it, you'll know what it looks like. And a haji or hijab is used in a general sense, reference to any headscarf worn by Muslims, women, and girls that cover the hair, ears, necks, and leaves the face exposed. There are several types of hijab above. Al-Amara is a two-piece hijab comprised of a tight-fitting cap that inserts through a tube-like piece. Shaya is a loose-fitting one-piece hijab that wraps around the head before being pinned or tucked in at a shoulder. Kamara is a longer one-piece hijab that drapes almost to the waist, while hijab in the near sense is a short scarf that wraps around just the head and the neck. And there's one thing that says here, should any of these hijab be banned? All hijab should be banned in order to protect non-Muslim women, okay? How would banning the hijab protect non-Muslim women? The answer, in Arabic, hijab literally means partition or certain, as well as obstructing or isolating. The hijab is a means by which Muslim girls and women are partitioned or isolated. And for what? From sexual assault, the basis for the hijab in Sharia law in Quran 33:58-59, which states, those who harass believed men and believed women undeservedly bears on themselves a calumny and a grievous sin or calumny. A prophet enjoins your wives, your daughters, and the wives of true believers that they should cast their outer garments over their personal when abroad. That is more appropriate so that they may be known as Muslim women, as thus not being harassed or molested. So it's like almost a protection so they don't get raped, molested, etc. Muslim boys and men are taught to not touch true Muslim women and girls, identified as having cast their outer garments over their person, so that they may not be harassed or molested. The flip side of this is that women and girls who don't wear the hijab are not true Muslims, but loose females who, if harassed or molested or raped, deserve it. So for all those people the women that follow Muslim faith and say they're Muslims, if you don't got this thing over your head, if, let's say, we are under Sharia law, that's going to be your ass. They could rape you and do everything to you because you don't have that head garment, that protection cap. And it shows right here, how does this affect Muslim men and boys? And there's a picture below what it does. Below is a scene from Cairo, Egypt. 3 boys chased out a woman, and one of the boys touched her private parts. When she recoils and shocked, the boys are non-chanted. Why? Since she isn't wearing the hijab, she must be a loose woman who deserves to be molested. Oh. Wow. And it goes into further detail. Perhaps non-Muslim women should wear their hijab for protection. The hijab may pass with liberal Muslims, but not conservative Muslims, for whom poses women need to be in a nakaba, which covers the entire face except the eyes, or nakib. I think that's how they pronounce it. The conservative Muslim men and boys and women who dares to reveal her face is still loose and a prey. And it says here, and here's the point question, does the nagbin or nakaba then offers a sufficient protection? The answer, to more conservative Muslims, men and boys show the eye still, signaling a loose woman and a sexual prey. To those men and boys, the only woman and girl off limits are those in a burqa rite, what they call burqa rite, which is a picture of it, which you can't see here. As a matter of fact, I will drop this here so people can see this here. Let me do this. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Mr. Charles, that's right. All right. Until the lovely burqa catches on as a new fashion trend among non-Muslim women and girls, all hijab, and nakaba and burqa must be banned in the West in order to eliminate the targeting mechanism that Muslim men and boys are using to choose and justify sexual assault to non-Muslim girls and women. All right, and there's more, but I'm not going to continue that. You could look for that, read for yourself. All right, let's continue. A woman can have one husband who can have up to 4 wives, can have more. And that's no secret, in Islam, you can have more than one wife. That's nothing new. A man can marry an infant girl and consummate the marriage when she is 9 years old. Let me stop, man. Let me breathe. This is crazy, man. So I guess that, if 2 parents gave birth to a nice little girl and a friend or whatever sees this girl, he could ask nicely to the parents, say, your daughter looks beautiful. May I have her in marriage? And the parents say yes or no, regardless how that plays out. He could marry this little baby girl. And once the child reaches 9 years old, he could put a ring on it. Boy, I tell you, pedophilia is rampant in this religion. Just like Christians, but that's no story. Girl clitoris should be cut. I'm going to stop right there. Next. Let me say it. Girl clitoris should be cut. Now, everybody knows if you cut the clitoris of the woman, she can't feel stimulant and get those type of orgasms. And I guess from their logic, they're doing that so that she don't get the orgasm or have the wherewithal to be promiscuous. It's interesting. And, let me see how much more I have. I only have a few more left, and then I will open the lines if people want to give their take on this. A man can beat his wife for insubordination. So if you, the follower of Sharia law, your wife gets out of line, she gets loud, obnoxious, or does something that's out of line as a man or as a husband, you have the right under Sharia law to take your hand, pull it back, and give her some turners and give her some slap in her face. Blah, blah. You can slap her, punch her, box her. Why? Because in the Muslim faith, she was insubordinate. And with insubordination comes punishment. And let me see what the section of the Quran said. In Quran 4:34, when husband feels their wives are being unsubmissive and arrogant, the Quran 4:34 instructs them to first warn their wives. If their warning is not heeded, husbands are to withhold sex, number 1, from their wives. If that still does not work, the husband are to then strike their wives. If y'all remember, in what's the name? Sharia Ali's first book about, I'm not sure if it's dealing with how to understand the black man or the woman, I forgot which book was it, she did state in a few passages of the book that if anything, you could slap your wife. Where she got it from? She got it from this, because she is a Muslim. Can y'all agree? That's why when I heard a lot of people, especially women, not the dudes, and some dudes made some complaints about it, I don't really care about it, but for the sake of conversation, the females or the ladies had a big problem with that. They said, oh no, this man should not put his hand on me. He better not slap me or strike me. Yes, I understand he should not put his hands on you, but if you're under Sharia law, you will get turners left and right, and you can't do them about. Let's say if you try to fight back. You know what's going to happen with a man that's much stronger, bigger than you, on the average. Unless you're a woman that's 500 pounds or 300 or more pounds, and your man is skinny and not strong, then obviously he can't manhandle you. But on the average, the dudes you deal with are pretty big. They will sit there, give you some serious punches, kicks, slaps, and most likely you can't do nothing about it, because in the Sharia law, it is ordained and is agreed and is accepted to beat your wife. In Dubai, where Sharia law is applied the least strictly among the Muslim nations of the Middle East, husbands are to be gentle as they whip their wives into submission. So I mean, they will take their belt or whatever tool they have and bend you over and give you some slapping. Beat the crap out of you, in other words. I tell you, MJ, isn't it great to be an American girl? Isn't it great? You don't have these type of religious laws put in front of you so you don't feel that you see the men that act so patriarchal and so toxic take their hands on you and just give you some slap if you're very insubordinate. Now, some women said, you ain't going to slap me. Now, mind you, most women on the average could sit there, take the slap for whatever reason, and eventually kill their husband if they want to, which they're free to do. But like I said, this is not in favor for you, ladies, if Sharia law was put into effect. Anything you do to that man, you would probably be put to death. And we know how people be put to death. Usually some people get slapped, whipped, heads, arms cut off, or even go as far as being stoned to death. And what I mean by stone, if you notice, they'll put a ditch, they'll create a nice little ditch, dig it up, have you march you to that hole. You go in that hole, because usually normally they have a few men right there with guns, and say, go in that hole, go in. And as they go in, they take the nice dirt, they shovel and pile your body up under that hole until your head is exposed. And while your head is exposed, they find the biggest stones, medium stones, big stones, and they engage in playing baseball with your head and throwing the stones in your skull. Like, bah! Busting your head until the head just crack and bleed open. They do it to you dead. And there are videos right now on YouTube or wherever you can find those videos now. And I see most of them in certain African countries. I see a sister get stoned to death. Like literally. It's not a pretty sight, ladies. It's very disgusting. If we want to keep it, PG-13. It's very nasty. All right. Okay. A man can unliterally divorce his wife. A wife needs her husband's consent to divorce. Let me read that again. A man can unliterally divorce his wife, but a wife needs her husband's consent to divorce. A man can unliterally divorce his wife. A wife needs her husband's consent to divorce. Now, let's stop right there. No fault divorce. Implement in 73 or 74, one of them years. Since then, you see divorces being engaged and filed by the women, over 70%, for the last 47 years. It does not roll and it does not work in Sharia law. For you as a woman to get divorced under Sharia law, your husband has to sit there, give you the A-OK, and consent that say, okay, I will divorce you. Other than that, on the average, you can't get out of that marriage. Once you're married, it's final. And the funny thing about that section, is that on the average, most men, especially in America, don't normally how things get rough. They don't go around and just divorce their wives. It takes a lot for a man to sit there divorce his wife here in America or anywhere. But in Sharia law, he has the full power. If he decides he's bored and you can't satisfy him or you can't keep on your job or do the things that a wife should do, he has the right to sit there and end the marriage right there and tell you, say, I'm done with you. I'm divorcing you. Pack up your crap and get out. He could do that. He could do that. And there's not a thing you could do about it, unfortunately. So, yeah. A divorced wife loses custody of all children over 6 years of age or when they exceed it. A divorced wife loses custody of all children over 6 years of age or when they exceed it. So if your child is 6 years old and your husband divorced, he has, in Sharia law, in his right, he could take all your children of 6 and above, and you'll be childless. And the funny thing with America, if y'all notice, usually when the divorce happens, usually there's always custody battle of who holds and responsibly take care of the kids or who the kids stay with. And we all know over 80 or 9%, if my math is right, the child is awarded to the mother, no matter if she has a good, stable job or she's on drugs. The state will award the mother at the end of the day to watch and mind the children. Not in Sharia law. The men hold a lot of power. A lot of power. All right. Okay. What else? A woman's testimony in court allows in property cases carry 1.5 the weight of a man. Let me read that again for clarity. A woman's testimony in court allows in property cases carry 1/2 the weight of a man. Now, if I could understand this correctly, you're only going to get half of that in this case with in regards to who owns the property, who controls the property. If that serves me right, if I got an understanding of that. It's not like how, most times when everything is divorced and paperwork has to be filed and all of a sudden the courts have to decide who gets who, usually women from last much get a good portion of everything in this divorce here in America, including property. A good portion. I think greater than a half. I think it's like 6 or 7%. I could be wrong. If Charles could correct me, if you listen, Charles. All right, good. I'm going to open line in a second. Give me a second. Yeah, if you answer, that'd be good. But let me go to the final few cues. A female hearer inherently half of what a male hearer inherits. Let me read that again. A female hearer inherits half of what a male hearer inherits. And there's a mathematics in the Quran. Let's click and see what that is. Oh. Okay. All right, it says here, consider just 2 of the examples. A, if a man is survived by his parents, wives, and 2 daughters, the Quran mathematically requires 113% of his estate to be divided. And B, if a man is survived by his mother wives, and 2 sisters, the Quran requires 108% of the estate to be divided as follows. And in here, Allah instructs you concerning your children, for the male what is equal to the share of the 2 females. But if there are only daughters, 2 or more of them is 2/3 of one estate. And if there is only one, for her is half. And for one parent, to each one of them is 6 of his estate. If he of left children, but if he had no children, and the parent alone inherits from him, then for his mother is 1/3. And if he had brothers or sisters, for his mother is a 6. After any banquets, he may have made or debt your parents of your children. You know not which of them are nearest to you in benefits. These shares are an obligation imposed by Allah. Indeed, Allah is ever knowing and wise. And for you is half of what your wives leave if they have no children. But if they have a child, for you is 1/4 of what they leave. After any bequest they may have made or debt. And for the wives of 1/4 of you have leave no child. But if you leave a child, then for them is 1/8 of what you leave. After all banquets are bequested, you may have made a debt or made or debt. And if a man or woman leaves neither ascendants nor descendants, but has a brother or sister, then of each one of them is 6. But if they are more than 2, then shares 1/3 after any bequested, which was made or debt. As long as there is no determinate cause, this is an ordinance from Allah, and Allah is knowing and forbearing. They request from you a legal ruling, saying Allah gives you a ruling concern one having neither descendant nor ascendants has heirs. A man dies leaving no child but only a sister. She will have half of what he left, and he inherits from her if she dies and has no child. But if there are 2 sisters or more, they will have 2/3 of what he left. If there are both brothers and sisters, they male will have the shares of 2 females. Allah makes clear to you his law, lest you go astray, and Allah is knowing in all of things. Quran 4:11-12-176. And there's a mathematical equation right here, which y'all can look for yourself. Let me see what else I have here. All right, a few more, and I'm going to open the lines. A woman cannot speak alone to a man who is not her husband or relatively. Hope that was clear. Meat to eat must come from animals that have been sacrificed to Allah. And there's a halal, which I'm not going to click into. And there's more. Muslims should engage in takalaba and lie to non-Muslims to advance Islam. I think it's called takalama. I don't know if I pronounced that right. And takilaya is a concept and a reality that must be borne in mind when reading or listening to the word of Muslims. And it goes in what is takalamian or takilaya. Is a lying to advance or protect Islam. Means prevention. Muslims justify takalayin from the Quran or other Islamic texts and the actions of Muhammad, including the following. It should be emphasized that while lying is a cause of shame in the West, takilaya isn't in Islam. The Muslim takilaya, lying to infidels to advance and protect Islam, is both a virtue and a duty. There is shame, however, in being caught. Watch this video, which we're not going to. Okay. And there's like a scripture reading which we're not going to go into. All right. Let me see how much more is left on here. And that's it. So right now, let me open up the lines. For those who want to call in, the call number again is 712-770-4160. The access code is 915-411-pound. I repeat, 712-770-4160. The access code 915-411-pound. Actually, 411. Yeah, that's right. You know, you say it so much, you get it. But anyway, tonight's subject: Chaos Reign presents Sharia Law. Will it fix relationships in the West? First caller I have on the board is that Baltimore's finest.
Woo!
Yes, it is. What's good, Charles Faulkner, Jr.?
Not much. Doing a little overtime, rolling and patrolling, going to my regular shift now. It's kind of funny because, like, I don't know if you saw my comment. I said this is the way that a lot of these feminists and Me Too representatives are pushing it. See, people don't understand, like in the military, they tell you freedom isn't free. Somebody had to pay the price for you to enjoy the niceties that you enjoy.
Indeed.
You know, in the Western world, especially in the last 20, 30 years, women have been taught to be equal. We said they're equal to men, if not better. But when you get down to it, we're not equals.
Yeah.
Some things women do better, some things men do better. But when you have the ability to, as they say in this one little saying, believe a woman even if she's lying, what's going to happen is you're going to indirectly put Sharia law into the workplace. Men and women can't work together. Nope, can't even speak to each other. You're going to, because, or the other extreme, you're not going to hire as many women.
Okay.
Because of fear of lawsuits. If you don't want men to objectify you, put the whole cloth on. If you ever notice, when men, quote unquote, objectify women and made the beauty standards for women, women dress more modestly. Once men said, hey, you could go for yourselves, what happened? Women dress more provocative.
Yeah, for attention.
For attention, which is the greatest drug to a woman ever. So we look at this and say, you don't want the bad attention, but you want the good attention. If it's a guy you're attracted to, you want him to argue all day, but if it's a guy who's not, that's when it becomes bad. I mean, pick a struggle. Nobody has the right to put their hands on anybody unless they want them to, but you set yourself up for so many things bad. You know, women don't understand how much freedom that they get when you're allowed to walk the streets by yourself. When you're in these Muslim countries, you don't see women walking the streets by themselves. If you don't have a male representative, when I was in Iraq, you couldn't speak to the woman of the house. You had to speak to the men. Even if it was a 10-year-old boy, you had to speak to him before you spoke to his mother.
Okay.
And I look at this, and I'm like, wow, we're damn near going to have it indirectly, whether we want to or not. Why would I put men, and think about this, right, in the military, because they're trying to open up, if they haven't opened up combat positions for women, which, in my heart of hearts, why would you do it? Because,
you know, I've been hearing that from, was it Q? They said what they're starting to do something right now in the military.
You're going to see, and not to get totally off subject, you're going to see military effectiveness go down. You're going to see sexual claims of sexual assault or sexual harassment go up.
Wow.
One, it happens. You're gonna, like, how the hell you're gonna put a woman in a majority male dominated area?
Mm-hmm.
Two things are gonna happen. Either somebody's gonna be doing a lot of fucking, or somebody's gonna have a couple of sexual harassment cases. It's historically proven.
Mm-hmm.
Then guess what? If this woman does not make it through the ranks, what you think the first thing she's gonna say?
She will say, I was touched.
Do you really think a lot of those women are going to be honorable and say, hey, I gave it my all, I did the best that I could, I couldn't hack it?
No.
Or she just make a claim?
She's going to start trying to tell some lie.
See, we've set ourselves up for things that, you know, I've always said to a lot of women, even in the police department and military, don't be the stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
What do I mean by stereotype? Don't sleep around. Hey, do your job, do your equal share of work. Nobody said be a man, but do your equal share of work. Don't be sleeping around. Don't do all that shit. But
I agree.
And you know what? You'll be respected as an equal.
Mm-hmm.
But what you see is that I can do what I want. I can do with my body. And this, we can't shame the slut.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then you wonder why you get labeled or treated a certain way. Like they say, like the old saying goes, men love sluts. They just don't want to marry them.
Yeah.
They just don't respect them. And what happens is, when you get on these jobs, you notice when they were doing the reports for this Me Too bullshit, in order to get up in the corporate ladder, you have to have business lunches. What's happening now?
That's going to be gone now because of this. Even with the Harvey Weinstein, let me tell you something, Charles. Since the Harvey Weinstein case has now concluded and he got 2 of the count, now this is what I'm starting to notice. I'm starting to notice a lot of men, especially brothers, are drawing a lot of concern now. And obviously the man or the non-black man, the European man, now sees this. He's now going to start cutting back, drawing back from a lot of women. Because he got convicted by just the words. You hear me? So you think you're going to flip the ladder now? Now as you get alleged, get convicted by, say, we got to go by her words because you said that she got raped because she said she got raped. No proof.
And the crazy part about it is this. The women who actually do get harassed or sexually assaulted are not going to be fairly treated.
Yeah, I know.
The women who actually work hard are missing out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, wow. If you really, just like some jackass said, it's the man or it's the woman who your show now. If you were a dude, number one, you couldn't get a woman. And if you're a woman, we see why nobody wants you. Whoever said it. But to the point is, it's this. You feel something for women who truly earn their positions compared to the women who are lying. And for some reason, I've always said this. I don't like to treat women like they're children. I like to treat them like equally functionally adults.
Yeah.
Do not put yourself in positions that could get ugly. It's one thing if something happens out the blue. We cannot fault anybody if somebody jumps out the bushes and attack you, both men and women. But a lot of times people put themselves in these positions and think nothing's going to happen. I don't know what it is, Chaos. It's like it's one of those things where you want to be like a man, but you don't want to take the risks men take. You and I got to walk the streets and know that we got to have a fight. I was going to do I might do it tonight or I might do it tomorrow.
Okay.
I was going to do a response to BGS when he was talking about the lifestyle, the way that boys and men have to walk.
Okay.
And it deals with a little bit of this.
Mhm.
Women have to be protected.
Mhm.
How's that for a woman hater, right?
Yeah.
They should be protected. They should be protected. But once you walk outside that protection and you want to be just like the boys, just like the men, you know, it's like we look at it and say, oh my God, it's horrible. But when you ask for the same equality to be treated like the guys, this would happen. You just had 15 fucking ruffians attack a girl like she was a dude.
You know, I have not really watched the full video. That I've seen people put some highlights of it, and I'm thinking that this is a result of, you know, when you don't have structure in your own household with these children. You know, it comes to a point now that, you know, these boys are just going to treat anybody, whoever, and just don't give a crap.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, and this is the part that gets me, right?
Mm-hmm.
In all societies, women have always been protected. Three people that have been always protected. Children, women, elderly. Rightfully so. We can all agree.
Yeah, we can agree with that, yeah.
When you start playing that we're the same as men bullshit, see, we're built for war. Even if you got a 300-pound woman, she's not going to match my strength. She is not going to match my durability. She is not going to match my ruthlessness and just killer instinct. She's not. She's not built for that mentally, physically, spiritually. Yes, you have some tough chicks out there. I salute you, but it's like comparing. It's like comparing the shell of an armadillo to the strength of a damn pachyderm.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that shell of the armadillo is great, but once that elephant steps on it, crush. So it's like this. You see this in the workplace, and you see these scummy bastards who do this, because there are some scummy ass men who try to use their positions of power to get women instead of actually, you know, doing it off your merit, your charm, your sex appeal, or whatever. I can even respect the man who gets a woman off as well, because guess what? I never met a woman who didn't like a provider. So, but when you have somebody touching and you're going into their office by yourself, I just don't see that benefiting.
Yeah, I don't
the
see that
woman
either.
Or the person in there, because you're going to start seeing, which it should have been, if you're going to have meetings, at least 2 to 3 people, maybe 4, at least 2 to 3 or maybe 4 extra people within that meeting. So you can't, so nobody can say, oh, you touched them unless you actually did. And you have a witness. Or you have somebody to protect the woman and protect that man. And this is the horrible thing. You have guys who've been to college who had consensual sex. Kind of found out the chick's lying. There's no penalty for her lying. But you're always saying to her.
Not in this country. You know what I'm
saying? But you'll have a rape but you'll never see the woman prosecuted for lying on the stand. Just lying like a motherfucker.
You know, I've never seen that yet. It's good for you to mention it, because I know a lot of women have lied on the stands. I think even when the Bill Cosby situation, when, you know, one of those models did lied, and there was no real punishment. Started to notice that, you know, with women, I'm not sure if it's sisters, it's women generally in this country, but it seemed to me when this court system, like, you're painting a picture or a narrative that they can't do no wrong. If they go in with a boo-boo tear eyes, it's just fine, and they got to take everything factual, which I find it problematic.
And see, here's the point. Since somebody wants to go toe-to-toe about this military and women in military, look, if you got a guy who's in a weight class, do you really want to fight a guy in your weight class, or do you want an easier fight? Last time I checked, the average woman is about 5'3" to 5'5", 130 to 165 pounds. Okay?
Yep.
You can shoot up with steroids. You can put her in the gym all day. Guess what's going to happen? She's still got to deal with that natural bull.
Mm-hmm.
Like, literally, the amount of testosterone. Well, I'll give you a good example. Serena Williams probably has, 5 to 10% more testosterone than the lady she plays. And look at the difference.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about somebody who has times what? The amount of testosterone in you? On a bad day, he's stronger and faster than you?
Mm-hmm.
And you're talking about all warfare since the beginning of time to now, at some point goes to hand-to-hand combat.
Mm-hmm.
It's not looking good. You could teach her how to be the second coming of the Ninja Scroll clan. Guess what? It ain't happening.
Yeah.
Because at some point in war, you're going to go to brute strength and viciousness, just ruthless power. But what you see out there in the movies and this education propaganda, the women are kick-ass. They can be warrior princesses. How many all-women armies have you ever seen? Give me one time in history. You know?
No. And funny thing about that, there now, this year alone, and probably somewhere next year, you're gonna see a lot more female Marvel or DC characters in films. Even in projection, they're gonna have the She-Hulk now.
Yeah. How the hell you're gonna have? Put it to you this way, FloJo, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, female athlete of all time. Ran a 10:40 something.
Mm-hmm.
FloJo was a bad motherfucker. We can all agree. I mean, athletic, just as beautiful, as graceful. I mean, if you told God, build me a perfect female athlete, it'd be FloJo. 9 times out of 10. FloJo, with her great speed, would not even make the men's qualifying semifinal round.
Wow.
She couldn't even get to the men's finals with the speed that she had. Her record still stands. Think about that. It's been like, what, goddamn 30 years?
Long time.
No, they don't have. Number one, G-force means the pull of gravity. Women have bones, lighter bones, and muscle density. So they can't pull as much weight or take as much tolerance as men.
Mm-hmm.
If that was true, you'll see women fucking repping 400 pounds like it's nothing.
Yeah. And the funny thing, to even go further, because there's certain things I couldn't bench press a while, but now I could do now. And a woman just come as she is, whether she got a little older, let her try to pull at least close to 5 or 7 sets of a 200 pound without doing anything, without preparing. I wait. Not that many.
Like, I'm gonna put it to you this way, right?
Yeah.
I read a lot of these articles. Well, if you put more muscles on women and women can take more, no, they can't. You put a fucking book bag or 100 pounds on a fucking 130-pound woman. Do the math on that. She's carrying damn near, 75, 80% of her body weight?
Mm-hmm.
And it breaks them the fuck down. Do you know the women who graduated fucking Ranger School, they had to finagle their fucking scores?
Mm-hmm.
Because it breaks you the fuck down. You lose fucking weight. When you lose weight, you lose strength. And when you don't have that much weight to begin with, you're going to go even further down the strength spectrum. So stop giving me this bullshit about it. And it's not even about hating on women. It's just biological advantages. Women have more endorphins, painkillers. Why? Because they have a fucking bowling ball-sized baby coming out their vagina. So they have the endurance when it comes to pain, not force.
Mm-hmm.
So when you actually look at this shit, and you're saying that women have to be protected, yes, but you're going to get to the point where you're going to have women damn near not working. And how many single mothers that we have out there in America with any race? Because like you said earlier, they're in the Western world, they're awarded the children more.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. If we took away welfare and said, we're going to go with Sharia law. If you're not married, you can't get benefits.
Okay.
In some of these Islamic countries, how many single mothers do you see? Excuse me.
0. Yeah. I'll be nice. I'll be fair. At least let's say 5%. Let's go for a number. Like I said,
I don't even nobody wants to see a starving woman with her children on the street. But that's the fucking philosophy that they have. When you see this shit, and unfortunately with Me Too and shit like it, a lot of people who deserve to be called upon it will never get called. But a lot of people who ought to be in jail for sexual assault and sexual harassment will never be jailed.
Mm-hmm.
These motherfuckers won't talk about how they were serving fucking little girls up for fucking R. Kelly. See, they won't talk about that, will they?
No, they won't talk about that.
They were literally handing little girls to fucking R. Kelly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wait, what's this? Somebody wrote from the chat room. Let me read the chat. In my opinion, women can shoot guns also. I'm not saying they shoot better than men, but they can shoot. Yeah.
Okay. I gotta put this out there.
Yeah.
War is not just about shooting guns.
All right, as I wait, let me open the other line. Stay right there, Charles. All right. I open the line. Who's this?
Big J here.
Stay right there. Stay right there. I go open the next line. Caller, open your line. Who's this? Hello? Caller, I just opened your line. All right.
I'm sorry, I have myself on the Sarge here.
It's Sarge? All right, good. But before you say, hey, Big J, wait, I hear background noise. Okay, somebody be telling. All right. Big J, what's up? What can you bring or enlighten to this particular subject, or you want to add on? You can, Big J.
This idea to have a Sharia law is comical, and to fix relationships in the West. No, if you want to fix relationships, you have to go to the source, and that is the change of the education curriculum that would be more beneficial to men in a capitalistic society. I think that what y'all are doing, and this is my criticism of the black manosphere, by the way, is this idea of focusing on the symptoms and not the disease. You're focusing on the minor, not the major. So, the reason why you're having relationship problems is that the hypergamous nature of women, and in the world of equality, is not allowing men to, or that's the wrong word. I shouldn't say the word allow, but it hinders romantic choices that they would get when men's educational level is subpar. In 1981 is the only year. I'm going to use 1980 to 1982, or the only, between those 2 years, that was the only year when you have grads, people who graduate from college was 50% men, 50% women, even board, between 1980 and 1982. You can look that up. But afterwards, you see an increase of women grads and men not graduating from college. Therefore, women were not looking for women's choices decrease the more educated she got. So I'm not here to say let's dumb down women. What I am saying is, since the education system has been anti-male since the last 40, 60 years, we got to beef up education in boys. And black manosphere is not doing their job in identifying that problem, because the black manosphere only worry about black woman's hair weave, a black woman's weight, the black woman's attitude, rather than addressing the real problem. Thank you.
Big J, it's interesting you brought up that scenario in regards to even playing so-called education in regards to degrees of men and women up to 82. And I'm not surprised it started to take a dip, because, as you know, when even what they want to proclaim the rise of feminism, it didn't really start to take real shape until the 80s in some sort. I mean, it was there, but you start to see the effects now during the mid-80s, because there was still some playing field with men and women to some degree. I could be wrong, but once they start, like I said, after 82 with the education piece, it's going to be downhill. Because once the dudes not, in those same universities in mass number like the women, it's hard for them to really complain about they find a mate. And usually those are the best times if your woman can pick a mate is probably on the average. On the average. Once you do the college field, then you're going to be, it's like a hit and miss. But, I agree. The education piece with the boys should be addressed. I'd say that with another set of ladies say on that. And a lot of these are not going to look into, because it boils down to they operate on an individual basis, these cats. So I'm going to leave it at that. Sarge.
Yeah, I just like to say that
I haven't heard and seen you in a long time. So enlighten us on your views to the subject matter.
Well, I just heard what Brother Faulkner has been saying, and I just want to add to it and elaborate on what he said. Not only from an empirical, as he put, he was making empirical observations based upon anecdotal evidence, probably what he knows, just what almost everybody actually knows. But I'd like to give some historical examples to show why women in the armed forces, not necessarily in the armed forces, because they do some jobs extraordinarily well in the armed forces, but in combat roles, particularly infantry combat roles, that this is just utter madness. I mean, this is utter madness. I'm a Ranger School graduate. I graduated Ranger School. and I went to jump school and all that other jive, and I went to Sister Artillery Forward Observer School. I was in the mechanized infantry and as a mechanized infantry squad leader. And I'm telling you right now, the idea of women in combat roles where the typical rucksack load for the average infantryman, just as a light infantryman, is 80 pounds. The guys in weapons platoons are carrying anywhere between 100 and 120 pounds, and they got to carry it on their backs. Now, on 20 November 1943, during some of the most horrific fighting in the history of the United States Armed Forces, the Battle of Tarawa, 2 Japanese tanks mounted a counterattack against a fragile Marine toehold on Red Beach 3. The Marines were huddled there at the base of the seawall. They were getting withering fire from the Rikku Sentai of Admiral Kenji Shibasaki's fanatical Japanese landing force defenders who were slaughtering hundreds of Marines in Badio Lagoon during 76 hours of the most savage fighting in the history, not only in the Marines, the United States Armed Forces. Now, Marine anti-tank gun crews were huddled at the base of the seawall. Seawall was 7 feet high. It's loose sand at the base of the seawall. They were trying to figure out how to get their 912-pound, 37-millimeter M3 anti-tank guns over the seawall. Remember, it's loose sand at the base of the seawall. There are 5-man crews in an anti-tank gun, that kind of anti-tank gun. The battery commander ordered his 5-man crews to lift them over the seawall. Remember, it ain't like you're in a gym on a hard floor. You're in loose sand. The seawall is 7 feet high. That's what they did. They lifted these 912 anti-tank guns over the seawall. Then they knocked out the tanks that were attacking the beachhead. Remember, the beachhead was totally disorganized. They were being cut to pieces. Then they engaged a bunch of enemy bunkers whose dual-purpose guns were knocking out the approaching landing craft, put them out of action. And finally, they used those anti-tank guns with canister ammunition to rout a local counterattack of 200 or so Japanese against the south shore of Red Beach 3 at a critical point in the land. Now, just think you had those crews mostly made up of women. You tell them, lift your 912 anti-tank gun over the seawall in the sand, being shot at the whole time. Think, just think and not emote. Just think. And then you got another case of Merrill's Marauders in the China-Burma India Theater. From February to May of 1944, the men of Galahad Force were subjected to the most grueling long-term commitment probably of any United States infantry combat in history. Now, they were told they had to do a long-range, deep penetration operation behind Japanese lines. When it was over, every man in that outfit was racked by dysentery, malaria, scrub typhus, cholera, any number of debilitating diseases that sapped their strength to way below whatever it was when they began their operation. Their mission had been extended and lengthened several times when they were told they were going to get relief, but their debilitated condition was not deemed sufficient to let them get out of the field. They had to stay there and keep going on mission after mission when they were just utterly done in. So think, you start with young, fit men who are pretty strong, pretty fit. I mean, they've been trained in the Army to a high peak of physical fitness, but because they've been out in the field for 3 months, in the worst jungle conditions you can imagine, they're weakened. They've got diseases. Think now, you got a bunch of women there too. Whatever fitness level they start out with now, they're racked, which is below your typical man in the armed force. Think, you think they're going to make it more likely they're going to complete that mission or less likely? Now, look, I witnessed this when I saw women being integrated into the National Guard. And I was told over and over and over again by my superiors, because I'm a platoon sergeant, and I'm told over and over again that we got to take it easy on them and make sure they get through it. So what kind of talk is that? I don't take it easy on my men. Why must I take it easy on them? But that's the way it is. Political correctness. We're fighting a war now in Afghanistan and Iraq and all these other places. Now, look, I'm not trying to take away anything from these guys here. Because, look, it was me. I'm a Vietnam combat veteran, and I don't think I had as bad as guys in World War II or even the first year of Korea. So I'm not trying to take it away from anybody. But what you look at what they got. They got stable bases. They got forward operating bases that are pretty stable. The enemy can't really overrun them. The enemy cannot deny us the battlefield. They're not capable of shoving us off the battlefield like the Japanese, the Germans, the North Koreans, or the Chinese were. They're really kind of like, very severe, police stations in the worst districts of, any city you could get in America. Think we got to fight an enemy that can force us off the battlefield and put us into retreat and actually defeat us on the battlefield. Like the Chinese did when they came and punched the Marines at Chosin Reservoir and wiped out Task Force Faith. Tell me, son, what do you think? This is crazy. But it's just feminism and political correctness. Nobody's got the guts to stand up and do anything about it. Crazy.
I see. Okay, sorry. Okay. I'm hearing feedback. What's that? Is that you, Charles? I'll be back. All right. Well, since I'm not sure how you're familiar with Sharia law, Sarge, or how well first you understand it. I probably want to have a question. Maybe you can answer it properly. You there?
Yeah, good.
Let me see. It was in one of these little footnotes that I was reading. Let's see, which one was it? I'm trying to find it. It says here, I'm sure we can answer it, where it says here, a woman's testimony in court allows in property cases carries 1/2 the weight of a man. I'm not sure if you know of any or understand that part.
Well, Sharia law is simply incompatible with our system of justice and our Constitution. We cannot allow it to prevail here and maintain our constitutional republic. There's just no way. We can't even consider it. The very thing you just cited is an example of that. You cannot differentiate in law between any fit, mentally competent adult. You've got to treat them all the same. All of their testimony under the law is equally valid until it's proved invalid or valid. We cannot even consider Sharia. Sharia is, let them, look, they want to keep Sharia, let them go back to the country where Sharia is. Here, you got to deal with our First Amendment, which says Congress shall make no law establishing a religion, respecting an establishment of religion. Period. End of story. No more discussion is necessary. Sharia law allows for differential treatment between the sexes. It cannot be allowed here, period. There's no discussion to be had.
Well, yeah,
it's whether or not one or the other will prevail.
Well, Sarge, you got to understand. A lot of these cats, not many, but just enough, they talk about their plight here in this soil, how they can't operate or function like a man because women have all the power. So they feel implementing this will take away the power of the female and put back to the male. I'm not sure if you agree or disagree with that.
Yeah, I understand all these rationalizations. They don't fly here. The key to fixing inequities in the justice system is not to differentiate between people unless you're differentiating in matters that are truly distinctive and matter. Like women get pregnant, men don't. So you got to differentiate in a law on that basis because that is a valid distinction. Almost no others matter under the law.
Okay.
I mean, I know it's hard. A lot of people understand that, but this is what we mean by a representative republic and a constitution, where it does not make a differentiation in the sex. It just doesn't. Our concept of law does not allow for that. I don't care what they do in practice. I know what they do in child support courts. That's not right either. But that's still, the law doesn't make a distinction between parents, only whether or not they are fit or not. The man can be just as fit or more fit a parent than a woman can, or a woman can be more fit than a man can. But the law doesn't make that distinction. Maybe court judges do in their minds.
No, it's pretty much they're given preferential treatment in the court systems.
Well, that's wrong. We know it is.
Of course. A lot of them are not going to do it because they want to tamp down the children, especially the boys.
But that's and this is another thing that really bugs me to no end. By every metric observable, whether you are speaking of drug abuse, whether you're speaking of alcoholism, whether you're speaking of homicide, whether you're speaking of dropping out of school, whether you're talking about college entry rate, by every cultural metric that you observe, whether a group of people is in trouble or not, in every single one of them that I have mentioned, and far, far more, men are at a greater disadvantage than women, but all you hear these days is about empowering women. I've never seen anything like it.
Because it's like I said earlier. They want to empower them. Think about it. Do you really have to empower a man? No. You don't. You don't. Because women really, really, really have to be given power.
Well, look at what the Democratic Party is going through right now. They're having this huge conversation. They're all bent out of shape about the fact that two old white men apparently are going to be the candidates running, and the only one they got left is one that has utterly no chance whatsoever, Tulsi Gabbard. They just got rid of the crazy granny looking on a diet from Tweety Bird, that nutty cake Elizabeth Warren. They just got rid of her, and now she's whining about how sexism in the Democrat Party. It's crazy. They're crazy. I've never seen the body politic and so many people so insane all at once.
Wow. I'm just looking at it like this. I like to make a comment. I'm a strong, independent black man. Sounds funny, doesn't it?
No, I've known a lot of them.
It's not, and it's kind of like you're supposed to. You're supposed to be, and it's not a knock on women. It's just, look, when you get these situations that Me Too is not affording women, on top of the feminist propaganda that's trying to quote unquote empower them, when a woman is actually more empowered through her femininity, trust me, I remember women getting harassed by guys and she's yelling stop and help, and dudes that come out there like the goddamn Justice League to defend that woman with their lives. Now you got women out there nuck if you bucking like a bunch of dudes, and dudes are like, well, she got it. It's crazy, like this, like I was saying about the New York thing.
Well, see, we got to remember how we got here. I mean, there was a reason for the chivalric impulse to protect women from harm. It developed over millennia. It wasn't like it was done to oppress women and keep them in their place. There was a reason for it. Yeah, they're acting like these cultural impulses just came out of some arbitrary decision to oppress women. Yeah, it was used that way in many instances to do so, but that wasn't the reason for its development in the first place. The reason it all came about because we recognized that women, A, do something that men cannot do and that women must do to continue the species. They have to get pregnant. They have to bear children. They have to. There's no other way around it. And we recognize this is an imposition imposed on women by nature that makes incumbent upon men and others and the rest of society to protect them to a certain degree. Added to the fact that as a rule, as an overwhelming rule, they are considerably weaker and not as strong as men are. So that's how we got chivalry.
That's why.
That's how it all came about.
It's funny because you read my mind. What do you think? It's another word for this shit. It's called chivalry. Why do I have to show that I'm this capable man? Because I know that, guess what? I got to be able to protect your ass. For a species or an organism to survive in the world, it must either A, develop its own defense against the environment, or B, have another organism do it on its behalf.
Yeah. Symbiosis.
Just tell me, is that not biology 101?
Yeah, symbiosis, brother.
Yeah. So when you look at this shit, and I always tell young ladies when I speak to them, nobody has the right to put their hands on you, abuse you, but at the same time, we live in the world of probability. if I go out and I cannot fight and I talk the most shit to the toughest guy in the bar, there's a high probability I'm going to get my ass whooped.
Amen.
So to lower my probability, shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Avoid. See, this is the thing that I wanted to address. That I want to go even more in depth and address the video BGS did about the path that boys and men have to walk. See, a lot of the boys and girls, a lot of the women, the girls and the women out there, always been protected. Growing up, you couldn't call your big brother. You had to go out there and fight. You had to go out there and get your ass whooped to learn how to whoop ass.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of times we had to be tough. Over the years, women love men with a little season to them, a little scarring. You know why? Because they know that guy can take some shit and give it back.
That's right.
But coming up there and saying that we're strong and we're this and we're the warrior princesses, yeah, okay. Believe that shit. I've never seen things I'll never see. An all-female police department, an all-female army.
Yep.
I every time I look up these days, and every action movie I see, some little woman, 110-pound woman with pipe stem arms, is talking like some 250-pound linebacker-sized man, and I'm not just one or two of them, like 10 or 12 of them right in a row. And I see this all the time. It's like become a staple now in action movies. I mean, it's like something you just have to expect. But of course, it does lead to false expectations, and oftentimes, women are coming up against reality. I mean, I don't know if you saw that video that those two New York police officers who got into a scrabble with this guy, and they were trying to question him. And all of a sudden, this guy just hauls off and knocks this black officer and knocks him to the ground. Now, the black female police partner he's with, she's behind him. She's got her ass out, her collapsible baton. She's extended it. She's holding it in her hand, and the other hand, she's grabbing him by the back and says, "Sir, please stop, sir." Please. Meantime, he's wailing away on his partner. He got his partner down on his back. He's straddling him and wailing away on his partner. He said, "Please, sir, stop. Don't do that, sir. Come on, sir. Get up. Stop." And she's tugging ineffectually on his jacket. Meantime, it's not like you see in the movies. She's not putting him in a wrist lock or an arm bar or a hip toss. No, you're not seeing none of that. She's a bit talking. I said, "Please, sir, stop, sir." And meantime, this brother is battling with this big dude. Did you see that?
I hate to interrupt you, but I kind of wish East Coast would call in, because guess what? It's culture. Because first of all, look at the culture, and I have to address this. Look,
Yeah, call that.
It's culture. Because let's face it real quick, right? Because like you said in the action movies. Okay? I've been a police officer for 13 years. I was in the Army for 10. I've dated a chick who competes in powerlifting for about, 160 pounds for women. She can bench press 260 pounds, which is fucking phenomenal for a woman.
Mm-hmm.
260 pounds wouldn't make me sweat.
I know. I was doing reps with 225. I was doing 15 reps with 225.
If you really, guess what? If you could put my link to two of the videos, the warm-ups, warm-up 1 and warm-up 2, if you really think I'm bullshitting, go ahead, look. That's not even me warmed up. That's just me getting on the bench, going. Okay? And I'm not even, so guess what? The greatest technological advancements is still the human brain.
I know. See, if you're like me, the reason I started pumping iron when I was a police officer, because I was dealing in an arms race with all these guys getting out the joint who've been pumping iron for their whole prison sentence before they got out. Guys, going up the river for 3, 5, 6 years. All they're doing in the joint is pumping iron, many of them. And in order to keep up with them, you got to do it. It's like an arms race. Because you're going to have to face them on the street when you get up there and make traffic stops, or you do a Terry stop, or you do any number of things. These are the guys you got to face off with, particularly in the Chicago area and around Cook County. There's all kind of jailbirds out there who are doing nothing up in the joint but pumping iron and learning how to disarm police officers.
Yeah, and this is the crazy part. This is the crazy part, right? A female officer once told me, she's like, look, I got to do what I got to do. Even if I shoot the guy, there's a chance he can still overpower me. Okay? Lean not to your own understanding. Understand the realm you're in, both men and women. Okay? Nobody's saying that women can't handle their own. If I had to be a betting man, and if you put fucking Ronda Rousey against Conor McGregor in the octagon, guess who's my money going to be on?
Hey, you wait a minute. You mentioned something a little bit earlier, and I'd like to give you another little take on this. Now, we all know Venus and Serena Williams are the top female tennis players probably of all time. Arguable, of course, but for my money, they are. Now, they were talking about how it was they were challenging any man to take them on in straight sets. And they were challenging to take any man in straight sets. So this guy, this German named, I forget his name, but he decided to take him on. Now, the night before he went out, partied, had a whole bunch of beer. He's ranked number 32 in the world. He defeated both of them in 6 straight sets. He's ranked number 32.
Matter of fact, I heard the story, and he wasn't ranked number 32. This was the number 200 ranked man.
Oh, that's right. No, I'm sorry. You're right. It is 200-something. Yeah. He defeated both of them in 6 straight sets.
And it's not saying that they're not great. It's saying, okay, Charles L. Faulkner Jr. do not want to see women in the front line fighting. Should a woman know how to shoot? Should a woman know how to shoot? Yes. Should a woman know how to spackle a wall? Yes. Should she know how to change the tire? Yes. But guess what? You got a man to do that first. You're the last resort. You protect the kids. I protect you and the kids. See, the fucked up part about it all is this. When you don't teach women their strengths and give them a false sense of direction about their strengths, guess what happens?
Defeat.
You develop a sense of psychosis.
Frustration.
Women's strengths are the psychological, the emotional. Because if a woman says something to you, she could cut you like a sword compared to a man says it.
Exactly.
You know, some of the best detectives in the world are women, because women have that emotional bonding in their voice to make men just submit to them and just, oh, I'm so comfortable. And a guy will tell them, oh, I've robbed 3.
Yeah, I know what you mean, man. Look, I was an instructor. I was a firearms instructor. I was a hand-to-hand combat instructor. I instructed women and men. Women should be as proficient as they can be in those things, especially if they're going to be in the profession anyway. They need to be as good as they can be to do the best job they can since they're there. I want them to be. I did my very level best to make sure the people I instructed, men and women, were as proficient as I could make them be. But if you're going to ask me, is it wise to put in the first team to engage the enemy a large proportion of women? Now I'm not talking about the plug-in gaps as necessary because the enemy made a breakthrough. I'm talking about to put them in the team that starts to close with, engage, and destroy the enemy. I'm going to say you're crazy. You're out of your bloody mind. And anybody who knows it knows better. These perfume princes who run these generals in the armed forces, and to sit up here and listen to the politically corrected masters tell them what they're supposed to say. They're just parroting words that they know are not true.
Yeah.
Pathetic. Sad. I hope we don't come up against an enemy that can actually defeat us on the battlefield anytime soon, because we're going to be in trouble.
You know, it's like this, man. The reason why it's something to look at and examine, because I feel a lot of these dudes that even mention it, I hear been talked about this briefly last year, and now it's been circling around other streams and podcasts, or wherever wants to talk about it, that implement this in the West we call America. I think, this is my conclusion to this, it might do something. It might change the dynamics of how we look at men and women in regards to the roles, and a lot of things that women are indulgent in, you know, getting the fruits and comfort, even in regards to laws in their favor. I get it, but really truly, for those that's thinking like that, they better ask what they wish for, because, you know, as a man, you know, you might have more favor, but it's going to be a greater responsibility on you to really play your part, you know, and that's not really been talked about. I just only read the little things, what is encompassed of Sharia law, what are the things that, you know, from the bullet points, what it is, you know, and it sounds good and it sounds nice for the men, and it sounds very much, hate for the women, because it's going to make you act right, or else either punishment or death, you know, a beating or death will only be the thing that's going to be awaiting them. So, you know, like I said, for those men that's thinking like that, and I only hear from mostly the brothers talking about this, I don't hear anything else, that it sounds good, it sounds nice, but, you know, to implement here, you know, that takes, you going to have to be in a position of power. And you can't have power in certain areas in your communities and stuff, and you go implement. No, you got to have actual political power with laws and legislative put it in this. Having a little small section of you say you're going to implement in your own household and your little community is not enough. That's how I see it. Charles, you still there? Let me check. Okay. Everybody jumped off. I see. Let me go for the chat room before I wind it down. Well, actually, let me give the call number one more time. The call number is 712-770-4160. The access code is 915-411-pound. I repeat, 712-770-4160. Access code 915-411-pound. Tonight's subject, Chaos Reign presents Sharia Law. Will it fix relationships in the West? As I look for the chat room, I just saw a bunch of emotional men having an all-out brawl on the House floor in a paramilitary meeting in the country of Turkey. Facts, okay. I'm sick of the black men talking about women every day, all day, every day. I might be MGTOW and MRA, but damn, can you move on? That's from Big J. Right, Big J. They never talk about love or romance. There's always intense complaining. Yes, and that's what you find with a lot of these so-called spaces. Too much complaining from the men's side. Yeah, and they do want respect in the world. No doubt. No doubt. But like I said, to get respect, you have to earn that respect. And usually you won't get the full respect is when you get some power. You got to run some things instead of running your mouth. But to wrap this up, since everybody is silent, let's check. Now, for the thing that people do not know, the country's Sharia law is being implemented and planned. Hold on, I hear somebody back in this. Okay. Oh, it's 8. I got to mute you. All right. Which countries use Sharia law? Muslim-inspired Sharia states is the birthplace of Muhammad that has no legal code other than the Sharia law and enforcement. It without mercy, Saddam Arabia, or Sodom Arabia, but as detailed below, the Sharia law is also used in full or in part, nationally or regional in Afghanistan, 89%, Algeria, Austria, Bahrain, Bangladesh, 82%, Brunei, Canada. Oh, woo, Canada. Hope there's no black women and there's a Muslim men, especially brothers or wherever, that if you're in Canada and you're Muslim, you are screwed. They practice that job. So I'm telling you, ladies, for your own protection. If you're in America, these are places you don't want to go. Either you're non-black or you're a black woman. These are places you must stay away from. Comoros, Djibouti, I think that's how it's pronounced, Djibouti, or Djibouti, 82%. Egypt, 74%. Eritrea, Ethiopia, France, what? Oui, Musi Pusu. They practice Sharia law in France? Damn. Ladies, tell you. Gambia, that's in Africa. And I think the video I saw of the woman getting stoned was, I think, in Gambia. I could be wrong, but that's another story. Germany. Whoa. Sharia law is practiced in Germany. Imagine that. Ghana. Not surprised. Ghana has a heavily population of black people that subscribe to Islam. India. Indonesia. 72% is practiced. Now, mind you, once they give a percentage of this, that is known that that's how much percentage Sharia law is given in that certain region or that country. Keep that in mind. Iran. Iraq, 91%. Jordan, 71%. Kenya. Kuwait. Libya. That's the home of Omar Gaddafi. So if you subscribe to Muslim or Islam, notice that the Sharia law is practiced, and you will get stone death if you're not careful. Lebanon. Malaysia, 86%. Maldives. Mauritania. Morocco, 83%. The Netherlands. Nigeria. Oman. Pakistan, 84%. Qatar. Saudi Arabia. Somalia. Spain. What? Sharia law is practiced in Spain? Now, these are women that wants to, if they have not already explored the world or they want to save themselves, be warned. If you come across a man that follows the Islamic faith, you're going to be falling under the Sharia law. Keep that in mind, ladies. Chaos is protecting. I'm saying chaos is giving warning. You know what I'm saying? Sudan, Sri Lanka, Syria, Tanzania, Thailand, which is 77% practice Sharia law. What else? Uganda. United Arab Emirates. I'm not sure what that is, but y'all can look that up. United States, USA, which I'm going to click the link to see where in the United States is practiced Sharia law, because now that's something new. I see here that this is one of the few countries. United Kingdom, W Bank and Gaza, 89% practice of full Sharia law. And Yemen. So let me click the United States because that's something new. Sharia law in America. Sharia law in the United States of America has reached penetration phase 3. Oh, the spread of Islam. As the number of court cases in which civil laws and Sharia law clash rose across America, many American states introduced bills banning their state courts from accommodating Sharia law. Many of those bills have been stalled by the Muslim Brotherhood, which accused the bill sponsor the support of Islamophobia. Campaigns against their re-election ensued in courts. States that have managed to pass Sharia law block legislation known as ALAC, American Law for American Courts, are listed on Islamization of America. And that's not a link which, you're going to have to look for yourself. While fighting to a draw in many states' legislations, Sharia law has been advanced faster, in many cases unopposed, in other American institutions as far. An increased number of American public schools are commemorating Muslim holidays, serving halal foods, and holding Islamic prayers towards Mecca. In 2014, Rocky Mountain High School in Front Colleen, Colorado, became the first American high school to recite the Pledge of Allegiance in Arabic, replacing one nation under God with one nation under Allah. Bill Clinton was the first U.S. president to hold a White House Eid al-Fitr dinner at the end of Ramadan, the Muslim month-long dawn to dusk fast. Eid al-Fitr, including 6 takbars and the rising of hands and shouting Allah Akbar. Let me say it properly. I'm going to get started. Allah Akbar. I think I said right. To declare that Allah is great, then the God of Christianity, and to idolize of other religions. See Jesus versus Muhammad and Allah. Every U.S. president since Clinton, including George W. Bush, I think it's Jr., held the blasphemous dinner for the total of 20 years, 1996 to 2016, until Donald Trump scrapped it in 2017. Well, I tell you, ladies, you're lucky. Yeah, lucky. Now, I'm not sure how long President Trump's going to keep this going, because he kind of scrapped it when he came to office, because he doesn't want to deal. He don't want to deal with no Muslims. He don't want to hear about Muslims. So him being president, now that's now 4 years, and I see him not projecting doing all 8. We got to see how this is going to turn out. In 2000, the Republican National Convention became the first U.S. president convention to open with a Muslim prayer to Allah. In 2007, Quran, for the first time, was used to swear into office a new U.S. Congressman, Keith Ellison Wright, in 2017. This former spokesman of Nation of Islam became the second highest leader of the Democratic National Committee. 2009, a Christian U.S. soldier at Bagram Air Force Base in Afghanistan received Bibles in 2 local languages from the American Church as planned, and the U.S. Army confiscated these Bibles, and instead of the lease returned from this to the church, burned those Bibles when Terry Jones, a pastor in Florida, announced his plan to burn a copy of the Quran. In 2010, General David Petraeus, the commander of the U.S. military in Afghanistan, publicly objected to his plan, while U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton denounced his plan as disgraceful. In the landmark 2010 pro-Sharia ruling on SD versus MJR, Judge Joseph Charles Jr. of New Jersey concluded that the Muslim ex-husband repeats his rape, and there's something you got to see, his Muslim ex-wife after testimonies from the Muslim man, Iman. The judge denied the ex-wife's request for a permanent restraint order against his ex-husband, citing that Muslim man's beliefs. And to attract the managing Muslim wealth and increased number of American financial institutions quietly began taking steps to become Sharia compliance. This includes donating a percentage of their annual profits to Islamic groups that are designed by their Sharia compliance advisors, many of whom belong to the Muslim Brotherhood and funded fund or Fino Fund, to jihad groups. The donation must go to one or more of 8 recipients, categorized one of which is jihad, including Hamas and Hezbollah or Hezbollah, Hitler Islam, and etc. In 2016, candidates who openly identified themselves as a Muslim and campaigned for national and statewide office numbers about a dozen. In 2018, the number of roses to about 90 after 31 primaries in July of 2018. About 50 of them remain in their race, far more than the number of candidates who openly identify as Christians. And there's more, but let me see what's more in this. Yeah, and this is a long thing, and I'm not going to go into this. Wow. And it says numbers. But like I said, I will leave the links for y'all to read that for yourself. I'm not going to go into it tonight. I think I made my point to this. And total right now of many countries, including the United States, which is marked here, which has not taken no effects anytime soon yet, but times will change, and that might change very fast depending how this presidency continues and who else is next up to probably make that reality. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. There are 48 countries in total that, and one, I would say 47 because we're not sure about, or 46 between the United States and the United Kingdoms, which I think United Kingdoms have certain parts in their country that allow Sharia law. That's a total of Sharia law that is now implemented. And it says here, adapt to the infiltration, eliminate to the society that are left vulnerable. And that's the United States, Canada, United Kingdom, and Europe. Those are only 1, 2, 3, 4 countries out of that 48 in total, which you cut down the 48 is 44, that has not accepted Sharia law. And the percentage of Muslims who favor making Sharia the official law in their country, source Pew Farm Research, in many countries where an official circular legal system exists alongside the Sharia law, the majority of their Muslim citizens favor making Sharia the official law. For example, while Egypt's military blocked the Muslim Brotherhood efforts in the direction in 2013, 74% of Egypt Muslims still favor it. Even in Jordan, Indonesia, Malaysia, Muslim countries with progressive images, relatively secular ruling elites sit atop Muslim masses, 71%, 72%, and 86%, respectively, on which or whom what their countries to be ruled by Sharia, and in Iraq, where the United States has been propping up democracy since 2003. 91% of its Muslims want to live under the Sharia law. And the number of countries penetrating the Sharia law continues to grow, and thus in depth of its penetration in the countries already affected. This penetration is not by happenstance. It is managed and occurs in 5 phases. Spread Islam are the top steps stopping Islam. And if I click here, and I'm not going to go into that. This concludes that part. And in conclusion, wait. Oh, I have one more caller. Let me see who this is. Hello? Caller, open your line. Caller? Hello?
Hello. I'm sorry, I was on mute. I was listening. I came on late. What is are you saying Sharia law?
Sharia law. I can't go
Sharia.
back. Yeah, I have went extensively explained bullet points what it implements. Let's say if it's implement, you might have to go back. Unfortunately, because it's very lengthy bullets.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but other than that, this is if you catch the replay, I know you will, Ottawa, you get more clarity to what it is, to even the subject in itself. But anyway, but everything good with you, Ottawa? I guess so. Okay. Okay. In conclusion, to my answer to this.
Back listen.
Okay, thank you. Sharia law. Will Sharia law fix the relationships between men and women in the West we call America? My answer, if it was really implement the way this climate is in America in regards, the complaints that women are in charge and forgot men are giving power to women, that's another story. But let's say, women are the head of things right now. My thing is this, that implement will probably solve that aspect of the imbalance right now in this country in regards to women and their so-called little power over men in the system, court systems, etc. But overall, the real answer to men, especially men of this community, black community, wherever, that it's only going to be inevitable of your potential demise if you don't do something. If you're not seeking any form of power. Everything that's laid out and against you, besides other competing group of men, non-black men, which they suffer the same laws too, but not as much as you because, we're going to get the bulk of it because we're not in a position of power, so we get it last. You have to get some form of power, whether you come as collective or get the power. Any way you get it. I mean, it's going to be a journey, but overall, they implement or present this in the 4 countries that is not implemented yet. It could probably fix certain things, but you can't bank on it and wait for that to happen to get back in a certain power position as a man with your woman, or to live your patriot lifestyle if you're not got your stuff in order, fellas. If you move as a patriot, you move as a patriarch. It's that simple. No woman can't give you no rule over you or make you feel less than if you allow her to. So at the end of the day, it's going to depend on you how far you're going to allow any woman to control and dictate your life and your relationships with her. No special law like this is going to come in and then eventually fix the problem, if it's implemented or not. You're going to do the work, fellas. So that's the message I'm going to leave and conclude on that. So thank y'all for listening to tonight's stream. I advise people that missed the playback, catch the playback of this. I said a lot of things that you probably might miss, but it's kind of some good information and something to think about, for all the men that will go back to this, and for the ladies that will get a clear understanding what it is and what could present if it's implemented here in the West, we call America. So I'll leave it on that note. Thank you for listening again. And like always, please follow me on Twitter at ChaosReign7. And make sure you like this video and subscribe. Until next time, take care. Good night.
Thank you for listening to another broadcast. And like always, comment, subscribe, and like this video. You can also follow me on Twitter at ChaosReign7. Thank you for listening. And like always, let the chaos reign.